Hello, everyone. It's that time for the JMOR Tech Talk Show, where we answer questions about technology, explain the way they should work, and why they don't sometimes. And now here's your host, John C. Morley. Hey, everyone. Welcome once again to the JMOR Tech Talk Show with my great co-host here, Marcus Hart. Always great to have him with us. We have another great show here today for you. But how's everybody doing? Getting ready for, this long Labor Day weekend? Do you have plans, Marcus, for this weekend, or just going to take it easy?
I want to put, I've been fasting all week, and been a complete vegetarian. So I'm going to put some steaks on the grill and some salmon and pig out on Sunday. So I'm going to do it on Sunday and not Monday.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do, there's a place we have by us not too far up on Route 17 that they do these burgers, and they're really, really good. And it's just like cooking at home. So I'm probably going to go do that. Parents are still in Florida. I haven't seen them for months. So this is the first, actually, Labor Day, I think, that I haven't been with my parents. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. It's just me, myself, and I, all three of us.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like fun. Sounds very interesting. And it's always good to connect with family. And I would encourage everyone to get a chance to connect with people that they haven't connected with in a while.
I agree. I think it's the most important thing. But let's get off to our show. We have a lot on this show, don't we? There's a lot of topics for this show. A lot of good things.
Yeah, you have to sit in a whole file, and this file's processing now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, holy cow. You got about 10 line items here. We got enough.
Yeah, we're our show's growing, not only with our audience, but the quality and also the content. We're really trying to put out some really meaningful content that our audience will hopefully enjoy.
Absolutely. That's always the goal, John. And I'm quite sure that the people out there do appreciate what you do for them. You really give a service. I have said that once before in the past, and I'm going to continue to say it.
Well, I love to do this for you and for my audience. I get so charged when I'm on camera here and I'm talking to my audience and just helping inspire them or having a better day or learning about technology that's going to really change the quality of their life.
Absolutely. That is definitely what we want to continue to do. That's what this network prides itself, and that's why we brought in such great talent like yourself. John, why don't you tell us of what's going on in the news this week?
Sure, I thought you wouldn't ask, but so we have some interesting things happen. So first thing, you might have heard the saying, Marcus, and maybe our audience has heard this saying before. They always say that how they say that nice people don't always finish last.
Yeah, yeah, that is quite a bit of the one I've always heard, and for quite some time I used to think that about myself.
Well, there's a technical definition, and I'm going to quote here, okay. And they quote unquote, they call it the word jerk.
Yeah. And
they say, believe it or not, and I'll quote, scientists have not developed a technical definition for this word jerk, but, but they do have one for the next best thing, a disagreeable personality.
Okay.
I guess that's when two people on the playground, don't want to play together or let me use your sand pail or let me use your shovel while I'm in the same place with you. It's all mine and I'm not going to share it.
Yeah. So what this started around the turn of the century, it looks like, right? When
yes.
When they started doing these personality tests on students in the undergrad program and MBA. And then it picked up again around 2018 when they got back in touch with the same students. So what happened from there, John?
Well, I think the interesting thing about this is that, they're trying to replicate, with the coworkers and stuff like that. But, there's no connection to the organizations, that they have any aggressive or intimidating cultures. But, they're saying that there's no effect from switching jobs often. But, a lot of people say there is an effect. I think when you change your your social surroundings, whether it's at home or in your job, it's like being uprooted. You know what it's like when you move, right? I'm sure you've moved before. It's different. It's difficult, right?
Right.
And I think what they're trying to do is that, with these disagreeable personalities, by using a subset of the skills, we can provide the success, but we have to get rid of the qualities or the characteristics, ladies and gentlemen, that would attribute to the word jerk. there's no other way to put it. So if you are a jerk, well, don't be one. And what do we mean by being a jerk? Because I know everybody's probably going to ask that question. And being honest here, and I'm going to go to I believe it's Merriam-Webster. You all know Merriam-Webster. Yeah. And when you think about gook, when you think about jerk, and you think about Merriam-Webster. She actually has a very interesting way of defining what a jerk is. And I'm actually going to read this for you. And I quote, "An annoyingly stupid or foolish person, an unlikable person, especially one who is cruel, rude, or small-minded." She says a single quick motion of a short duration. So that's a jerk, but we're talking more of a person. So if you're unlikable, a lot of times, and we'll get into the meat of our show, a lot of times, somebody gets categorized as a jerk because maybe they are being too selfish.
Yeah.
They're always me focused. I always said we have to listen to a radio station instead of WIIFM, which is what's in it for me. You have to listen to WIIFU. Now, we don't mean anything X-rated here, guys, or R-rated. We mean what's in it for you. Meaning, so if I'm doing something, I should be looking into what's in it for you. And I think if we take that approach and we just try to show a little compassion and we show the other person that we're actually interested in them and spend less time trying to be interested in ourselves, I think we're going to maybe move away from that tonality of being a jerk. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. And, people tend to be under this impression that jerks don't come one, they discriminate, it's all about discrimination. But I think anybody can be a jerk, but we can move away from that just by applying what you just said.
I agree with you. And I'm not going to call out any names here for security reasons, but, we've all had people in the past. And some of these people, I had one person in the past, and the person was always in a hurry. And every morning they would come down the stairs, and I always seemed like they were going to trip me. Now, not intentionally. And one time I actually confronted the person just in jest, and I said to them, I said, "Gee," I said, "why are you always in such a hurry? You're the one that always knocks me over." And going, "Oh, yeah. So why don't you maybe go to bed an extra 20 minutes earlier, get up 20 minutes earlier, So I think that's the whole thing, is that sometimes people become a jerk for a really interesting reason, Marcus, and that's because they're scared or they're insecure about themselves, about life, about where things are going. And I think if you just embrace the spirit that we're all here to help each other, I mean, there are some that aren't. I will grant you that, but that's not the majority of everyone. Right. And if we have that spirit, I just feel that there's going to be less reason or selection that people are going to refer to you as a jerk. And if you're not a jerk, then other people are actually going to be like, "Hey, he's a pretty nice guy. She's a pretty nice person." I think it's going to make a difference. It's a lot easier, Marcus, to be a nicer person than it is to be a nasty person,
Hey, you got that right. I can't agree with you more. And speaking of people who are in a fast pace, but actually taking it slow with their slow driving progress. How about Tessa out there? There's some news about Tessa. How can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with Tessa?
Yeah, this came to a surprise to me. That this company now that we were talking about, as not too long ago, just maybe a couple weeks ago, we were just talking about them. And the thing that's interesting about this is that they now are claiming, based on this new let's say the new thing that they're doing. It's they call it the self-driving progress, but it's really a slow process. They say they're getting the green light warning right now, and Tesla's adding this autopilot feature, which again, it's slow. And it's slower than Mr. Musk predicted last year. Wow. But it is starting to get a little more than trickle. And Tesla's saying that the new version of this autopilot software is going to add the ability to read speed limit signs. Wouldn't that be interesting? People that always try to go not a little bit over the speed limit, they try to like go 20 miles over the speed limit and just pray they don't get caught.
Yeah.
The new version of the software recognizes when a stoplight turns green. Wow. So it's not like in New York where when the light's green, you go. When it's yellow, you run like really fast. And when it's red, well, you better go or you're going to get killed. Exactly. They all seem to mean go in New York. The car is going to notify the driver, but it won't start moving on its own. Now, I think that's an interesting caveat. I mean, they're trying, I guess, to get this. They're trying to get this into people's minds about how it's going to work. But they're saying not to trust it 100%.
Okay. That
it's still kind of, in progress. It's a test. And Tesla's self-driving software is going to be something interesting. But he predicted that the software would take another 6 months to become reliable enough that drivers would no longer need to keep their hands on the wheel. There's lots of cars out there like lane keeping assist for Acura, other types of similar names. But, when you watch this, and I recently watched a video about Tesla that, they're like, oh, make sure you keep your hands on the wheel or at least close to the wheel, right? Because if you don't keep your hands close to the wheel, what's going to happen? Well, I know some cars, like mine when you drive, and if you're in an area where there's a rough terrain, it actually says steering required, which I think is kind of neat because a lot of times, you want to drive safely and you want to use that technology. But I think right now, you know what it reminds me of, Marcus, where we were with the voice over IP technology. You know what I'm saying? I think it reminds me of that, where we were like, several years ago. And based on that, I feel that, we're in a similar spot, but this is actually toying with people's safety.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think they need to go a little slower with this and, just kind of take it easy. I mean, the fact that they're now going to be stopping, they're going to be doing things based on traffic lights.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? What do you think that's going to actually do?
It's not, when I think about, even when I take road trips and you try to depend on the navigation system, sometimes those things are not as accurate. So I don't even think I can even begin to trust this thing 100% to even tell me that it's going to be able to predict every intersection of the so it recognize a stoplight, turning green in every stoplight, especially when there's rain, weather conditions.
Exactly.
To worry about, so it's too many variables, out here that we're dealing with, and to put it completely in the trust of a robot.
I'll give you a perfect example. So I have an MDX and I drive that right now. And when it's raining really hard and you're using cruise control, the cruise control sometimes won't even arm because it gives an error. Now, it doesn't say it's because it's bad weather, but I know that's the reason. It can't calibrate itself. Yes. So it actually gives you an error that it won't even start, which I think is kind of great. But this is interesting that they said that the car will not go when it's green, only notify you. So it's kind of like, it's going to give us a little more than guidance. But I still think the hands are going to be needed at least close to the steering wheel. I mean, I can drive down the entire parkway and never have to touch the steering wheel. But my hands are very close to that wheel if I have to grab them.
Yeah.
Or they could just be resting on it. Even though they're not doing anything, they're resting on the wheel. So I think it's going to be interesting, what Tesla's doing. And I think it's going to have a lot of people on the edge wondering, is this going to work? But I asked you a very interesting question last time, Marcus, and that's who's going to pay for an accident that happens? God forbid it does. Who's going to pay for that accident?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of things to worry about, and I still think we about 25 years out before this thing even becomes something that is a norm, or even close to the idea of a norm. So something that is going to be making headways and landing maybe nearby and making a delivery is Amazon's Prime Air Drone delivery fleet, which gains FAA approval for trial commercial flights. How excited are you about that, John?
I'm not really enthralled about that, if you can hear my voice. I mean, Amazon, they have a lot of money, and with Mr. Bezos being named just the other day, I think, was it $200 billion man or something like that? Mm-hmm. They always seem to be the first to do things. But, sometimes when you're the first to do something, that also means that you're the one that's also going to deal with all the challenges that happen.
Right.
So sometimes I don't like to be the first. And in this instance, I don't think I'd want to be the first company to have this or test pilot this because, again, we got another legal situation. We were joking about this a couple of years ago, but let's just say the drone, lands in your living room. Who pays for that?
Right.
And now, because of the rules that we have with the Federal Aviation Administration, they're going to allow it to start trialing commercial deliveries via drone. Now, notice what they said, commercial deliveries. They did not say residential deliveries.
Yeah.
So they're saying that this certification is the same one that's granted to UPS and a few other companies. But it doesn't mean that Amazon is going to be able to just, go to the market and start operating a consumer drone delivery service tomorrow. So don't think that. They're making a small contribution and they're getting permission to test it. But in no way, shape, or form are they being able to open on Amazon Drone Delivery Express services. No way. So we have a couple other things we have to think about. One, we have to think about safety of not only people that are in the drone's path while it's traveling to your home or to your business, but we also have to think about, the safety of how this affects other aircrafts, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And, supposedly this thing is going to be, something that they, basically deploy out there, but then it's going to be controlled by satellites. So now we've got more, let's say, air travel in the airwaves being transmitted. And that's going to cause an issue for, I see more interference and communication for people using wireless devices.
Yeah.
So that's another challenge. And I think the other big problem I see, and they were laughing about this, but this was a movie many years ago. They said that the drone came and it made a mistake and it picked up one of the babies by mistake. It was supposed to deliver and pick up a package. So let's just assume that the drone was being used to do an RMA, return merchandise authorization. So now it comes to your home or your business and picks it up. But suppose it picks up the wrong item. Suppose it picks up your $10,000 or $50,000 jewelry by mistake. Right? I mean, now.
Yeah. That's just a disaster waiting to happen. I tell you, I can't imagine what what this is going to look like. What can you tell us about the drone itself? It says it's a MK-27 drone. Are these drones even equipped to handle the amount of weight of the size of the packages that they're going to be picking up?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about these drones because these are fairly new, obviously.
Okay.
But I think what they're stating is that these drones are going to be handling small packages. So, UPS does different levels. I don't think we're talking about a shredder or something huge. I mean, just look at the sizes. I don't think this is going to be able to handle, something that's more than, I'm going to guess, more than 20 pounds, probably 10.
Right.
That's what's, because most of Amazon's products, as you know, are those small items, right? Those are those boxes that you can fit in your hands, basically the size of a football, roughly. but I feel that this is going to be the first test. And now, if they do get something to be bigger, then how is that going to affect aviation? Because let's say that this passes with flying colors. Great. Now they're going to go through some more testing. Then they got to test residential areas. So now while they're testing, I got to tell you, I believe there's going to be some casualties. And I don't mean life casualties. I mean like windows broken. Oops. Didn't see that window was there. Oh, but here's your package.
Or, you know, I can't even imagine some of these things just flying clean out of the air and then right into somebody's windshield. You know, that can be very, you know, very tragic.
Yeah, so supposedly, you know, when you have aircrafts above you, like the airplanes, they're regulated by the FAA. So apparently these devices, from what I'm understanding and just the preliminary talks, the FAA is going to have to monitor these. So they are, in a sense, a dangerous aircraft, because remember, something like this could even cause damage to a plane.
Yeah, it can.
So they got to really make sure these are flying at the right altitude, that they're in the right airspace. So I just feel this is going to cause a lot of complications, and I think it's going to create another division for the FAA. Maybe just drone delivery FAA, like subdivision or something, because this is a whole new can of worms, and the FAA has enough to do with dealing with getting planes from point A to point B safely, let alone worrying about things like this.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You know, so, you know, another thing that we probably, you know, didn't really know that was under the radar happening right before our very eyes was there's a platform out there called, is it Cosmos?
Yes. Oh, they're really causing some havoc. Yeah.
They're analyzing foot traffic in physical stores, and they're getting about $15 million of a Series A.
Yeah, for the Series A model. So here's the thing. When you use people's data, for example, if you go to a store and they want to record, you know, your video, that's perfectly fine. They don't have to get your permission. If they want to record your audio, they do need to get your permission. They have to post a sign stating that this premise is recording, your audio is being recorded or being monitored. There isn't a law right now, Marcus, to state, you know, this other, I'm going to call it, for lack of a better term, let's go into the medical realm. PHI, personal health information.
Right.
But let's not think of it as PHI. Let's think of it as just PI, personal information. Okay. And when something like that is being disseminated from you and it's being analyzed, I think you as a consumer should have a right to be able to know when that data is being used. I think a sign needs to be posted saying, hey, you know, we're analyzing your foot traffic with a system to detect traffic patterns. I think something should be posted about that.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. You know, it seems very strange, and it's very creepy that they would want to do these things under the radar like this, and not really, alert people and give people the proper notification about these type of things.
I agree with you, and Cosmos is just the first right now, but there's others I'm sure that are going to emerge. Yeah. And again, I wouldn't want to be the first one that's doing this. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's always the person that builds the mousetrap better, that learn from their competitors' challenges that they had. So they don't have to make those same mistakes or spend that kind of money to be in the same position. But Cosmos tracking foot traffic is primarily set up to find people in the brick and mortar stores to help predict customer behavior. Yeah. So we're talking stores like probably like your department stores, could be your JCPenney, which I don't know if they're still staying in business, Macy's, Sears, and a lot of these stores are starting to close, you know, but that's a whole other topic. This startup announced that it raised $15 million for the Series A. And the company Tiga Investments is very interested in this, returning investors for the OTB Ventures and the TDG Pitango, who led Cosmos's seed money for the round. So anytime, Marcus, that money is to be had, you know, there's going to be, I'm not going to use a bad term, but we always know the term, the A for every seat. There's going to be somebody out there that is going to capitalize on that expense, whether it's good or bad to people. And the company said that the valuation is more than 100 million.
Wow.
So stores like I mentioned to you, what's that?
I said, wow, they're growing.
They're growing, and this is just with the seed money. They are currently serving areas in China and Japan right now, so we're behind. Yeah. So they're already, this company that we talked about, the reason that they're so interested in us in the U.S. is because they've already done this. They've already tested this out in other countries. And most of these stores are, like I said, are in China and Japan. And they include companies like Walmart, Marriott, Samsung, and LVMH. So they've already tested this. They already have these as clients. So really what they're doing, Marcus, is taking a model and just executing it into a different environment because they already know that corporate likes the idea. So why wouldn't they do it in the United States unless there was some rule? So some shops, they want to connect customers with how they're shopping, with their behaviors, physical locations. And so what's going to happen with this? So they're reporting things like, for example, they're going to do things with COVID-19 offline retail recovery traffic in China. They're going to do audits. They're going to find out what they need to do to increase store traffic. So they're going to look at trends. And even more scary than internet trends, which track everything about you, this is going to be able to track your foot traffic. But when we think about foot traffic is not just coming into a store. What we have to understand is that foot traffic is going to be very detailed in tracking people, almost like GPS. So that let's say you get very close to the washing machines. Well, that's going to show up on a map. So they're not telling us this yet, Marcus, but what I see happening, I see them showing traffic by, numbers, but I think what they're not sharing with the public is that they probably can pinpoint this or will be very soon to certain items. And then based on those items, they're now going to be able to sell this data to those people so they can learn how to leverage better marketing or point of purchase displays. That's where I see this all going, Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so easy to, and what's the bigger scheme of it all is that like you're going to be very unsuspecting as a shopper, and you're going to have to go through hula hoops just to keep opting out of like constant junk that you didn't even know you're opting into.
I mean, we're going to start seeing, Marcus, unfortunately, we're going to start seeing a lot of information that's going to be tracked about us. So what can we do? Well, not a lot. First thing I tell people is that if there's somebody giving you a huge discount to buy a product or service, be wary because they're tracking your behaviors. I knew a company a while back that was giving a huge discount or giving free toothpaste out for a while. They want to study people's habits on how often they brush their teeth. So when something's free, we know the saying, right, Marcus? There's no free lunch. There's no free dinner.
Yeah.
There's always an expectation. But speaking about expectations.
Let's go. I was just about to think. We see we were thinking the same thing here.
Two smart minds think alike.
Yes. So tell us about this $98 a year. What can you get for $98 a year?
Well, like I said to you, whenever there's something to make money, and then when there's a buck, somebody's going to jump on, and Sam Walmart and these other companies that try to make a buck every way they can. I mean, they'd sell toothpaste that you'd have to aerate customly if it was going to make money. Walmart is launching on September 15th. That's not too long from now. Same day delivery, gas discounts, and cashierless checkout. But you have to pay $98 a year for this service. I mean,
yeah, there's a catch, huh?
There's a membership, right? And now you got to pay this membership fee. They're charging you money to be able to pay faster. All right, so they're going to give free delivery. All right, but what's that worth? $98 a year. How often do you buy from Walmart? Right?
You only buy about maybe once a month. If you're like me, I don't buy that often from Walmart. I'm probably
All
just
right, so let's break it down to $8.16.
mhm.
Okay, so $8.16. Okay, or they're saying you can pay $12.90. Well, $8. That's what it factors up into $98 a year. What it would cost if you don't want to do the yearly plan. Then you pay $12.95 on a monthly basis that just auto renews. The yearly probably auto renews too, but the program promises more than 160,000 items for same day delivery with no per delivery fees on orders totaling 35 or more. Oh, there's another
Oh,
catch.
that's the
Marcus.
catch. You gotta
You got to spend 35
yeah,
bucks.
yeah. You gotta go down every shopping line.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Is this really a value or is this a marketing ploy?
Yeah, it sounds to me like a marketing employee, and it
And
doesn't.
they're charging
Yeah,
people to use fast pay at the registers. I mean, come on. Stop and Shop gives you a device. You walk in, you pick it up, and you can use it if you want. Scan your items. They don't charge you a fee to use a scanner while you shop. I mean, that's convenience.
yeah,
I think what these people have to understand that, with delivery, like, limited delivery, things like, so what they're going to do basically, I'm sorry, is they're going to basically hire companies like Postmates, DoorDash, Roadie, Point Pickup, and others. So that's how they're going to become so big. And I don't know about you, but I'm not very impressed by these companies. The food gets delivered to you cold. It usually doesn't get delivered the same order that it was ordered in, meaning that it's disheveled. The items are supposed to be in the separate compartments, and usually your whole meal, at least the entree, is all like together in one compartment. And I know it all goes in one stomach, but I don't think it's appetizing to eat it that way. That's just me.
right.
But now I got a bigger problem, Marcus. You're paying $98, right? And you know how much I always think about accountability. Well, what are they doing? They're taking away the accountability from Walmart, and they're now putting it onto these other people. So now Walmart can't really be responsible for those deliveries.
No, they can't.
I think they're going to have a lot of unhappy people, I should say. And now what are they going to do? Hook it up to some line in Taiwan or China and saying, gee, I'm sorry, we can't help you with that one. Oh, that's really going to go over well in the U.S.
Yeah, it's as if their customer service line was not already busy enough.
Right. I mean, this is off topic, but I think Dell don't they charge money? I think Dell was charging money for a while, if they still do. They are charging an extra fee per month to have a U.S. speaking person. I'm sorry, something's wrong with that.
Yeah.
So the value, just like we talk about with Prime, right? So the value in Prime is that it has a promise of speedy delivery. But at the same time, it tests limits of customers' loyalty by, spending money to raise when Prime subscription decides to go up. So do you cancel your Prime? Well, I order a lot from Amazon. So for me, ordering a lot, it doesn't make that much difference to me. Getting the item quickly is important to me. But to some people that don't order frequently, is that really that important? I don't think so.
No.
Right? And Walmart recently reported the pandemic helped drive its own e-commerce sales up, listen to this, by 97% in the past quarter. So I don't know. I think this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to come on board with, but I don't think it's going to stick.
Yeah, they're gonna experience some troubles somewhere down the line. Being that they want to make this jump here.
Well, they're trying to wean people with a little discount. See, they say gas discounts. Here's what I think is going to happen. So now they're giving a cashierless checkout. Okay, so that's great, but you got to pay $98. So does that mean if I go into Walmart that I can't check out cashierless? I got to pay extra money to be able to go to a fast checkout?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Target
wondering now
doesn't
too.
do that.
That doesn't.
Costco doesn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, even CVS has cashierless checkout
Right.
now, so so that doesn't really make any sense. And to me, they're trying to, they talk about, they're leveraging their assets and scaling to bring solutions. Really, they're trying to leverage your pocketbook. So
And that's exactly right. And you know what they're saying, and I have a
yeah.
feeling, I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. I hope I am wrong. They're giving gas discounts. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, what's to say that they're going to stop giving gas discounts once they got 1 million people on board?
Yeah, that's very possible.
So, I mean, we already see how Amazon just does whatever they want. And to try to get them to refund something, well, good luck. I had a product one time and it wasn't even delivered to the right place. It was actually not delivered to me, a several $1,000 item, and it wasn't delivered to me. And I called them up and I said, "Where's my product?" "Oh, you're going to have to wait 3 days. We can't track it yet." "What do you mean you can't track it?" "Well, it was already delivered." "Well, who signed for it?" "Oh, Mary signed for it." "Well, Mary doesn't work for me." "Yeah, well, she signed for it." "Yeah, she signed for it." "Do you have her signature?" "Yeah, she signed for it." "Do you have her signature?" "Well, we got to wait 3 days." 3 days, and I spent $2,000. Yeah. So then I call back again a day later, and they agree to cancel it and refund me. I said, "Okay, what about the amount?" "Oh, but you're going to have to reorder it again." Now I go reorder it, and the product goes up $35. So I'm not too happy. But it gets
Yeah.
better. Because of their stupidity, they now will not deliver an item to me unless somebody signs for it. I think their delivery people, they're the worst. And I think the problem is not the delivery drivers, because we blame the drivers. It's Amazon.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
their system. They don't give them any training. They throw them into a pool and say, "Hey, swim, sink or swim." And what I feel, Marcus, is that with these people, you know, I never have the same driver. I don't think I've ever had the same Amazon driver ever in years.
Mhm.
They just assign people. It's just so disorganized. And you get people that are looking to make a fast buck. But to be honest, Marcus, they really don't care whether you or I get our product. I
Yeah.
always say if you deliver to a home and it's a simple address, well, they can do that. When you send them to a home and it's got another, like an address and it's like a second floor, well, that's a little harder, but they could probably pull that off. When you send them to a business and it's an office park and it's a complex and it's a floor and it's a suite, well, that might just be a little more than their IQs can handle.
Yeah, they get a little lost then, So, and
Lost
then,
when you got a number that starts with 7 and I found that it got delivered to 4, or the number was 702 when they delivered to 207. I mean,
yeah,
come on. I
yeah,
can't believe you tell me that it was delivered in the area. Well, we show it was delivered right near you. Well, where? Well, it was. I mean, something's wrong with that.
yeah, it
Yes, he's
is.
making a lot of money. Yes, he's doing things. And the only reason he's doing well is he's dealing with volume, Marcus. Because I got to
Right.
be honest, they have one of the highest uh, dissatisfaction rates in the industry, but they don't care. So I don't know. So Walmart, we'll have to see what Walmart's going to do. And but speaking about paying, did you
Yeah.
hear what
So
PayPal's doing?
PayPal, yeah, they have the pay in 4, buy now, pay later option. I think they're suiting up for Christmas already.
Yeah, so PayPal always had the option where you could do pay later. If you
Yeah,
had good credit, you could pay later.
yeah,
But now what they're trying to do is this buy later, buy now, pay later thing where you pay in 4 installments.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's handy. I just don't want to see the price getting inflated. So I'm not sure that it's cracked up to be, because remember, if they're doing a product that, let's just say, is they're doing these noise canceling headphones and they're $119.96, and you go for $29.99 and you do 4 payments, right?
Right.
So a noise canceling headset, I mean, they cost some money, right? And I think the problem I see here with this, I don't know if most people can see this, is that noise canceling headsets, generally run, they generally run around, let's say, between $50 to the good ones to maybe $200 or $300. The problem I have with this is I really don't think you're going to be getting the best possible price.
No, you're not. You're going to be end up paying a lot more for those headphones in the end.
But there's another catch. The catch is you can only pay in 4 if it's $30 and $600.
Wow.
So if I buy something for $20 and I want to split it 5 times 4, well, can't do that.
No, you can't.
It's got to be $30 to $600. And if I want to put something on that's $3,000, well, they're not going to let me do that either. So there are limitations to this. It's basically a short-term payment option that's allowing U.S. customers only to pay for a purchase over time without fees or interest. I don't think I believe that.
Oh, wow. So you're saying purchases between $30 and $600.
Yeah.
So if it's outside of that, you're stuck.
Yeah. Now here's the other thing. Now you probably would like to, if you're going to do that kind of a payment, right?
Yeah.
You probably want to break it down to how you want to pay that. Maybe you want to do it monthly, right?
Yeah.
If it's $600, maybe you'd like to pay it over whatever it is, 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? You can't. So not only do they tell you how much it can be between, but they tell you when you have to make the payments, but you have to make them in 6 weeks.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
What the heck kind of benefit is that?
That's not really a payment plan then.
Why don't you just put it on your freaking credit card?
Yeah.
And pay it off? You know, I don't know. I think this is another marketing ploy. And I think a lot of people are going to get enticed. You know what? Oh, I'm going to log into PayPal and I'm going to get to have 4 circles on my phone. Oh, big deal. I mean, but, you know, people go for this crap. They really do. And, I mean, we saw not too long ago one particular app that was allowing people to send money from place to place.
Yeah.
And then what happened was they said it was free. People got used to it. And then what they do? Oh, it's going to be $5 to send a transaction. Or it's going to be free if you want it sent, but oh, you want it sent now? Well, it's going to be $10.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I think you just got to read between the lines on these things. So I'm not really in love with that. I have used the buy before program, that pay for program. I've also used the one pay later where, you know, you buy something, even if it's a small amount. And the reason I do it is I want to make sure I'm going to get the item. So I like that. But this, you know, this pay for thing, why don't they do it into, if it's 6 weeks, why don't they break it down to 6 payments? Right?
Yeah, that would make more sense because I'm just trying to figure out how can you get 4 payments out of 6 weeks?
Well, no. You said you have to pay them within 6 weeks. So you can log into your PayPal app site and you make the payments anytime you want after the first. So I think the way it works is you got to make the first payment immediately.
Yeah.
And then you make the other one the next day or within 2 weeks, or you can make them all. Now, it doesn't tell you here whether you got to make them every week. It doesn't tell you that.
They're just giving you that extra 2 week as a cushion, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm wondering how fast you have to pay it back. Do they tell you the dates? They don't tell us any of that information, at least not here.
Yeah, I don't think they want to.
I don't think it's as good as they're making it sound.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound like. Speaking of good, you know, indoor dining movies returning in New Jersey Friday. Is this a good thing? You know, so tell us more about this.
You know, I have mixed views on this. You know, from being a serial entrepreneur and an engineer, and also a first responder in town, I got to tell you, I am not going to be eating indoors for a while.
Yeah.
I like the idea of eating outside. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, "Gee, you know, I think I might eat outdoors for a while, even in the cold." We were having a conversation.
They even could do the coals outside, and you know, you can pack around.
Yeah, exactly. You have those little heat lamps or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you know, John, the problem is our culture, right? Our culture is not ready for this. If you go to New York, New York, you go to other countries like in Europe, they are eating outside all year long. Mm-hmm. You go skiing in the Aspen, you're going to be eating outside. You don't take your clothes off and go inside to take your ski suit off. Well, that takes a half hour, 30 minutes. You eat outside and you get some snow in your breakfast while you're eating. So I think our culture has been babied.
That'd be a cool idea.
What's that?
I said that'd be a cool idea.
So I think our culture's been babied,
yeah,
and that we're used to having that. And I'm not saying I don't want air conditioner, I don't want heat, but I think that if we have a jacket on, I know that when I go skiing and I have my jacket on, I eat outside, I gotta tell you, I'm not cold, I'm not hot, I'm just right. Like, what is that? Goldilocks from the Three Bears. So I think that's my spin is that they're opening this up. It opened up actually 6 a.m. This morning on the 4th. So a lot of people are coming over the tunnel or the bridge.
Yeah.
That's why, because Cuomo didn't open up restaurants in New York.
Yeah, New York's still pretty closed down.
It's still closed down. And
this is going to cause a problem here, because this is way too close to the danger zone.
Yeah, I see it being a problem. I see COVID going up because the numbers of the people, because we know New York, I say one of the dangerous places is New York.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but there's just so many areas that you can't social distance. How do you social distance in a subway?
It's impossible.
They didn't close the subway down. They have social distancing requirements, but I'm sorry, you're still in a confined area and your air is still not getting out. That's why they do it outside. I mean, outdoor dining with the spacing, when I go to a restaurant, it's 20 feet, which is more than the 10, the 15.
Right.
So, and they're saying, 5 feet, 6 feet is the social distance norm, but we all know that 6 feet's not enough. So 20 feet is good, but I think it's a bad thing because we're giving our society a message that it's okay to go dine. Just like I don't think it's okay that they open gyms. Now, a lot of people may not like me on the channel. I apologize, but I'm just speaking from the heart here that I feel that the way they're opening it is a problem. Now, if they want to open, I think it could be very reduced. So they're saying 25% capacity. I think it should be more reduced than that. I think it should be like 5% capacity. I just don't think you can handle and clean, and even with these special guns they have, I just don't think there's a way to stay on top of it. And unfortunately, until people get sick, I don't think people are going to wake up. Right? We didn't wake up about COVID. Our own president didn't wake up until he's like, oh, I guess we better do something about it.
Yeah, you're sure is right about that, and I don't think you're preaching, to nobody but the choir out here about these things, and it is a real concern, and people are not going to realize it until it hits at home.
Until they hit it, and this is not going away, Marcus. But the one thing I do want to tell our audience: if you're going to a store, whether it's a BJ's, a Costco, or a department store, or even your convenience store, don't attack the person if they take the last milk. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen. And if somebody's 20 feet away from you and they take a step towards you, just don't have a hissy fit. They're maybe just going because they dropped something, or maybe they're reaching to get something that's on the aisle. So just because they take a step closer to you, don't have a heart attack. All right. Mm-hmm. I understand that you're concerned, and, we're all concerned. It's one thing if the person doesn't have a mask, but, they have a mask. They're acting within the safe social distancing guidelines. Just chill a little bit. People have enough on their minds. We don't need more assault and unnecessary aggravation added to any situation, because I think that's just going to cause problems, and it's going to make people, I don't know, it's going to make people more uptight. And by doing that, it's going to hurt things. It's going to hurt our society more. Yeah. And we're trying to, embrace this, because this is not going away tomorrow, Marcus. It's not going away. But, like I said, just chill a little bit. And I think that's really what it comes down to. But, speaking about coming down to and talking about all this money and purchasing things and weeks, and now for 48 months, you could spend $25. You get 48 months, $25 every month to fork down money, which will total, or you could do a trade-in, or you could do $11.99 with a trade-in to get the new Galaxy Z Fold 2 5G phone. Well, that's a mouthful.
Oh, wow.
So $25 for 48 months.
Yeah, I'm
So
looking at this thing now.
yeah, so 48 months times $25, that's coming at $1,200 or $11.99 with the trading value. So you really, it doesn't seem to me that there's much of a difference there, is there?
No, it doesn't really seem like it.
And they're saying with a trade-in or $11.99 with eligible trade-in. So does that mean that's confusing? Does that mean that I don't have to pay the $11.99, or is that a trade-in? That's very confusing.
Yeah, that is. Now, there's an important feature that sticks out in this thing that people feel like it's worth it, and people are jumping for joy about. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, they've been talking about the folding, how the way the phone. Are you talking about the way it folds into a phone?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it basically folds. It has an ability to basically unfold. It folds like a tablet, and this is what people think is like so amazing. And this thing is supposed to, obviously you'll link with the Galaxy Watch, but I don't know. I'm not really that keen on it. I don't think it's that. It comes in different colors, by the way, in case you were interested to know. But you can actually go online now and you can pre-order it. I think it comes in silver. It comes in like a light orange, a gray, like a light blue, a yellow. So it has that. It has the 6.2-inch screen, which they say is very generous and plenty of room to write or build presentations. And it's a fully functional smartphone. Well, I'd hope for that price.
Yeah, it better be.
So
Right?
here's the thing, when you open the phone, okay, so you have the ability to see the screen on the front, or when you open it, you see the screen altogether. So I think what people like is the fact that you have the screen when you open it, but you have the screen on the front. So I don't know, I think that's kind of interesting that you get that screen on the outside, and then when you open it, you get the screen. You don't get it on the back of the phone. You get it on the front of the phone, and then when you open it, you get the full screen. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think it's worth $1,200 though.
Yeah, that definitely.
They're claiming that it's a new movement. It's going to have a better camera on it. They call it flex mode, and it hinges on the cam technology that lets you lock the screen at a variety of angles. So that's their big claim to fame. And you can open it like like you would open a phone normally, or you could open it the other way, more like a tablet. I don't know. I think that's going to cause more confusion. I do like the fact that it has something on the outside that you can actually work with the phone. You open it, but I don't know. I see it as something more to break.
Yeah, it seems like it's a break waiting to happen, especially if you got kids like the kids I got. My kids get a little rough with technology sometimes. I'm actually looking at I would have 3 computers right now, but I'm looking at a third one right now that they didn't damage because they didn't folded it back too far. Yeah, this is really one that you might want to shy away from if you are.
I'm not usually one to knock technology, but I don't know. I just feel that what you're getting, you're going to get the 5G, and everyone says it's great. It's supposed to be a great thing, but I don't know. It looks something like a very sexy, sleek device, but to me, it doesn't really look like it's going to do everything for me. I mean, it has the hinge we talked about. The flex modes are at angles between 75 degrees and 115 degrees. What are you doing? Why don't you just use your phone and take pictures? Do you really need to be a photographer with your phone? Get a camera. The 120 hertz display, by the way, is only available on the main screen. So that is a drawback. Certain applications are not going to be supported on flex mode that are supported on other Galaxy phones. So that's another little thing I don't like. They are constantly working on things for compatibility with third-party developers, but again, nothing promised. You can view the main screen by going to the settings very easily. Again, certain applications may not be supported, but they may not be optimized in the apps for this particular phone. You can have multi-active windows in select applications. Through third party, you have drag and drop functionality, which that's kind of cool. Up to 3 apps may be opened on the main screen with split screen, and 5 more apps may be opened with the pop-up view for a total of 8 apps. Okay. And certain applications, guess what, may not support app pairing. So, a lot of things wrong with this. It requires the optimal 5G connection for optimal. They had a 5G. Auto framing is limited, guys, to the 16:9 ratio for taking pictures. Not happy about that. It's saying that you have to be 18. Let's see here. Oh, they're saying that to purchase the phone, that you have to be 18 plus. Oh, they're just saying that in order to order the phone, you can't order it if you're a minor.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I get that. I get that. So the phone, guess when the phone's coming out? The phone ain't going to be coming out for a while. So you can pre-order the phone starting on the 31st. But it looks like the phone isn't going to be coming out for a while. Pre-order the phone. You can get an installment plan. Looks like they're saying that they got a date on here. They're saying December 20th, but I can't believe it's that far away. It says that they're going to give you a gift for qualifying purchases. I don't know, they're really not giving us too much information of when you're going to get the phone. Again, there's a date here of December 20th with accessories, but this is what I was talking about. You know, when manufacturers put these sites together, where's their head? Like, they don't give us as consumers.
They don't really give it much.
They don't give us squat.
Yeah. No, they don't. Yeah, so it's really, and I think again, they putting their heart and soul and trying to sell you something that like they just forget everything else. The most important aspects of information, and so. And they don't really make it easy at all. So
this is probably something they're doing on purpose, but I think they're actually hurting their brand. Yeah. I'm not a Galaxy lover. Samsung's okay.
I always been a Samsung guy.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah, I got the Note 10, and I was thinking about getting the Note Ultra.
All right. I don't know if you want to think about getting this one though.
Yeah. So I don't know about this one personally.
I'd like to know what the package plan is for breakage. So if something goes wrong, what's gonna cover? Are they gonna give you like one coverage in 4 years, or what kind of? Or sorry, we'll cover everything. But by the way, we don't cover the hinge if you push it more than 40%. If it breaks within 30%, we'll cover it. But anything pushed below 40%, we're not covering that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very promising.
No.
I think they really dropped the ball on this one. So they and it's not too much different from the Motorola Razr. That they're just.
I didn't like the Razr that much. I had it. I wasn't a big Motorola Razr lover. I mean, I was a BlackBerry guy for a long time. I was actually one of the founding forefathers that helped develop the Sidekick. And I really loved the Sidekick. It was small. Before I had the Sidekick, I had one of the most expensive ones. I had a $600 phone. It wasn't a phone. It was just a texting device by SkyTel. It was actually by Motorola. I still remember this day when I got my first pager. And I'm like, I want something more than that 9X pager. Now you don't hear that much anymore. I think they're still around. But I went to something that was a little more advanced. And I said, I want something that I can text on. And then after I got a texting device, like, I really want something that I could be able to do two-way communication on. And then that's what led me into the phone that started costing, I think I was telling you that the story on this, it was costing like for a 10 message for 10 characters, okay? I believe that was actually costing, Marcus, something like, I'm going to say like $10 for 10 characters. So, and that's why when people had voicemails, they would only text. I always wonder why they would put like your extension number. Like they would just put only like gee, and I said to people, what are they cheap for digits? And I realized why they were cheap, because the paging companies would give you so many pages, and they started to charge for the number of characters that you were being paged.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going internationally. So I had this device for a while, and you could do what they call two-way communication. I still remember to this day, I'd pick up the telephone and you dial and it's like, welcome to SkyTel. Please enter the message number now. And you put your message number in. So to wait on the line to see if your message is delivered, or you may hang up. So I press 1. Please wait. Your message is currently being sent. And you'd hang on the line, and then within a couple seconds, like, dong, your message was delivered at 5:22 p.m. And you had confirmation of it, which I think is kind of neat. I know to this day, a lot of people like that instant gratification to know if somebody got the message.
Yeah, they do.
And so SkyTel did it. They were only the one division, I think, of MCI at the time that actually made money. And then I believe they sold them. So that was a very interesting thing. And it changed the way. But what I was trying to get on here is that, so then after that device, I decided that I wanted to have my BlackBerry, stay with my BlackBerry, because now you didn't need that texting. It was all built into it. And they started making you pay a fee every month because you had to have an internet plan, right? They had to charge extra for that. And then BlackBerry started doing that. And every time you got a phone, it was always a mess because Verizon servers, your servers never communicated with them. And it was a whole disaster. So they had to get that fixed. And then on top of that, I decided, well, now I have that phone, but I remember one time, I think it was Lyft or Uber at the time, and I wanted to get a ride. And I couldn't because my BlackBerry didn't have that app. They weren't developing. And I said, well, I guess my hand's being pushed. As much as I don't want to do this, I'm starting to see the writing on the wall that I need to divorce my BlackBerry. I'm sorry, buddy. But we had a long, good life together. I think I'll bid my time with you one more time, and then I think I have to say goodbye to you. But that's what happened. And then the iPhone, and I remember the first iPhone I got, I was walking, and I walked, and the clip was so cheap that my phone broke after my first walk. I went to Verizon, yelled at them, and said, hey, why'd you sell me such a cheap clip? Oh, we know you were going to walk. I went to the store, and they didn't just fix it. I had to go there and schedule an e-appointment. And it took 4 hours to go through the whole process. I won't bore you now with that, but that's my story about that. But on one last tip for tonight, because we always have to wrap up. The U.S. has added 1.4 million jobs in August. And college cases have hit 51,000 for the coronavirus. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but there's actually, did you know there's a website you can go to for this? There's a website you can go to. If you go to it's called World Meters. If you know about this, it's a handy site. You can go to worldmeters.info. And on there, you can actually search down, or you could just type World Meters and you could type coronavirus. And when you click on that, you will literally see the coronavirus update live. There are 26,756,401 coronavirus cases.
Wow.
Okay. And the deaths are 877,703, of which they've recovered 18,876,263. So if you're looking for a good topic to talk about at one of those socially distanced, of course, parties, then you will want to go to worldmeters.info, and you can learn all kinds of things like how many phones are purchased, how many cars are made, all kinds of stuff. But if you scroll down further, this actually will give you, this is in the world, by the way, this isn't just the United States. In case you were wondering how many cases were in the United States of America, I knew you were, 6,383,533 total cases. Total deaths, 191,937, and recovered total 3,627,989. Active cases now 2,563,607. serious that are critical, probably on the verge of death, 15,064. Of which, okay, 85,805, 49 people were actually tested. Of which 258,959 were tested positive. So that means the rest we're doing by assimilation. So you can go in there, Marcus, at any time, day or night. Like I said, if you want to be the hit of a party, you can click on US and you can drill it right down to your state and see exactly what's going on. But I have to warn you, the new deaths is not always updated frequently. So again, that's world meters. And the last topic I think that I want to cover is a thing that's happening local right here in not far from my town in the Franklin Lakes Rampo Indian Hills District. Okay. They're moving to remote start. The district has announced a remote restart for the beginning of September, but students are going to be back in the building by the end of the month. Wow.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. And just the other day, there was a protest for them going back to school. And do you know the protest they had, Marcus? They didn't wear masks, and they weren't socially distant.
Yeah, of course.
The list of schools is growing and growing, as you probably know. And schools are scheduled to start, hopefully, on September 8th for students at both district high schools. But they won't return to physical classrooms until September 24th.
Wow.
So I don't know. And I'm going to quote something. In a second letter from the Rampo Indian Hills High School, according, and I quote, from Principal Travis Smith and Greg Vaca, the duo cited a lack of visible improvement in the coronavirus health metrics as a reason for the decision. Our plan was aggressive and assumed that New Jersey will continue to experience improved health metrics and advance through stage 2 and potentially into stage 3. By September 8th, they wrote, simply put, the current health metrics do not support a full day of instruction and indoor in-person lunches. So what does all that mean, Marcus?
Well, it sounds like to me that, they should continue a virtual learning schedule, until there's, there's some progress here, because we're just not quite there yet. And that's just the reality. And many people just don't want to accept that reality. It's just, it's as much as people want to transition this thing faster, you just can't.
It's a problem, and I think the biggest problem that I see is that the unions, they're telling the teachers not to go back to school,
and rightfully so.
And I understand that, but here's my caveat. I think it's okay that they don't go back to school, but I have a big problem, Marcus, with them staying home. Now, I don't have a problem with them staying home and being safe. I have a problem with them staying home and going to babysitting service, which is what Zoom is. They log into babysitting service, free babysitting service, and they sit there, they check in, and who knows what the heck they're doing. There's no teaching going on. I don't know very many schools that are teaching online except for the colleges.
Right.
So I think they're really doing a disservice to our students.
Yeah.
So I think something has to change with that, but this is a constant moving target, Marcus. It's changing day by day.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I can't agree with you more. And and it's only going to get, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. I think we are, right in the midst of it. We're not, quite out yet. And you bring up some very interesting points as always, John, and you always know how to bring up the news that really gets our attention. So
thank you.
With that being said, any closing things you
like to sure. So as you guys know, I have two other channels. They're not live. I have the JMOR Unboxing channel, and I have the JMOR Reviews channel. If you have a product that you'd like me to review, you can reach out to us at jmor.com. Go to the reach out us link at the top, and then you can click on donate a product for an unboxing. And we'll unbox your product. You can't tell us what to say, and then we'll do a review on it. This week, we have some great things coming up. I think we're going to be doing this week coming up, we're actually going to be doing an unboxing of a fan. And the fan actually shows the time and temperature while it's spinning. So we have some really cool gadgets coming up. But again, if you have a gadget or something like that, plus we have some great guests coming next month. So we're really working, guys, to give you some amazing content. So if you could do something for me as your host and Marcus as my trusty co-host, share our show, like the channel, tell your friends, tell your colleagues about it. Not for me and not for Marcus, but for you and for our world, because we're giving so much value. I'm sure Marcus can agree with me. We are giving so much value to you guys that, is just priceless. And I think if you just take one little bit or one nugget of what we've said, I think it may change the quality of your day to be an amazing day. What do you think? I
agree with you.
But as our closing remarks always go, it is time to say goodbye. I hate to say goodbye, but we had a really good show tonight, Marcus. If you have any questions or comments, of course, reach out to us. We would love to hear the topic that you would like us to talk about. And, in the chat or visit our site and just let us know what you want to see, because we talk about everything technology. We are the JMOR Tech Talk Show, and we're here to educate you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the JMOR Weekly Technology Show, where we answer your questions about how technology is supposed to work and sometimes why you have challenges getting it to work that way. For more IT support and tips, just text IT support to 888-111. That's IT support to 888-111, and you'll get tips on technology. I'll see you next week right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. Remember, JMOR.com.